Hello and welcome to Reykjavík Grapevines Newscast. My name is Valur Grettisson. I'm an editor-in-chief at Reykjavík Grapevine, the culture magazine in English, the only one in Iceland. This, of course, over there is Pollý, my little helper, the chief of morale officer for the Reykjavík Grapevine. And she's doing an excellent job, by the way. She needs a raise. Meaning more candy, but you have been so kind sending us candy and balls and everything for Pollý. We absolutely love it, of course. But we're in Heiðmörk. I've never been in this place before. Art showed me this place because I suggested that we should find some blueberries because this is the blueberry season. But Iceland is so weird. The summer started so slowly because it was so cold in June, meaning that there is perhaps a month or so until the blueberries come up. But these are like the blueberry bushes that you can find in this forest here. And it's very delicious. And Icelanders go with their families every year and we pick up blueberries. But there are none. So I guess we're just going to have to talk about Afghanistan and the Taliban's. So, here we go. Kabul was captured by the Taliban yesterday. This is very shocking, to say the least, and it's, in my opinion, a very humiliating moment for the American foreign, whatever you call it, direction, and their army battle thing. But it's also bad for Icelanders because we are, of course, in NATO. And not only that, Icelanders had peace corps in Afghanistan, and we have had one since 2004. We are very different when it comes to this, of course. Iceland do not have any army. Still, we're in the middle of a war zone. So our peace corps are, for example, engineers, journalists, healthcare workers. There are even air traffic people. I'm not sure what the proper name would be in English, and so on. We are good when it comes to infrastructure. And of course, Icelanders do not have weapons, except the police. There are also police officers that actually go to Afghanistan to uphold the peace. So, Icelanders have been involved in the rebuilding Afghanistan since 2004. So when we watched the news yesterday, we were in shock also. This was incredible to see. The president of Afghanistan, he fled the country. The Icelandic media have been interviewing refugees from Afghanistan, and it's been very interesting to hear their point of view. They feel very, very betrayed by Americans and us, the NATO, I guess. The Prime Minister, of course, in Iceland has said this is a very serious situation. We know this. There are no new news about that. But she promised that we would take more refugees to Iceland from Afghanistan, and now is the need because it's obvious that the Afghans and Afghan refugees are the biggest. There are no more most of the asylum seekers in the world are from Afghanistan, and have been like this for almost 2 decades now. So this will only be worse now, and this is not good news, of course, for the politics. The last time this happened was in Syria, when Syria, of course, bursted out, and in 2015 we had a huge wave of asylum seekers from there, and the politics in Europe at least became very, very nasty, very racist, and so on. So it's very important that people are cool-headed about this. Also because, in some ways, Icelanders, like other NATO nations, are responsible for the situation. And it's, of course, incredible to see how this has unfolded. I can't go there. Or what? How do we get there? So, the foreign ministers of the EU, all of the countries, are having a meeting today to address the situation. Our friends in Denmark, they are of course, they had a lot of people in Afghanistan, even an embassy. Even Icelanders were in Kabul when Taliban took it over. But thankfully, nobody seems to be in danger yet. But we still are, wait, we can go here. We're still trying to see how this unfolds. And I have to say, I mean, it's tragic to hear the interviews with the Afghans that have fled from their homes. They feel like there is a lot of betrayal when it comes to this situation. The Americans, of course, invaded the country, and now Anthony Blinken, in like basically just borderline embarrassing video interview, was saying that they managed to get their purpose has been met, and they say there is nothing more to do than leave. Which is interesting because if the purpose was just to eradicate Al-Qaeda, they did that years ago. It's obvious that the NATO and other countries, they were trying to rebuild Afghanistan, and Icelanders thought this was very important. Therefore, we even had teachers and women's rights advocates that were trying to build up like more freedom when it came to this. So it's absolutely just shocking, I have to say. And I think this will be like the legacy of Joe Biden, and of course Donald Trump did this idiotic deal with the Taliban, both freeing 5,000 mujahideen, so fighters, in January 2020, or if it was February, and also of course the leader of the Afghan right now. He is very smart, strategic when it comes to fighting, and he was also one of the founder of the Taliban, and the leader now, and will probably be the next president there. And he was freed after being held in Pakistan for years. So it's incredible. This is just a disappointing situation. America knows this, of course, but it's interesting perhaps for you to know that Icelanders are heavily involved also in Afghanistan in many ways. And because we're a peaceful nation, we focus on rebuilding, and this has all been taken away in just one night. Now we are to COVID. More fun news, I guess. COVID has a little different kind of borders right now. The borders are, I wouldn't say stricter, but it's different for Icelanders and those that have connections with Iceland. Meaning that if I would go and travel somewhere, I have to take a PCR test when I come back. That is, if I am vaccinated. I do not have to quarantine between, and it's basically because Icelanders often want to blame the tourists for bringing the virus. This is not, perhaps sometimes true, of course, but Icelanders are the one that spread it. We go and meet our grandmothers and nieces and basically everyone, and they go and meet everyone. The COVID cases are going down now. That's good news. We went up to 150 something. Which was the highest numbers we've ever seen before. Oh, beautiful area here. But the thing is that the numbers are going down, but because we are all vaccinated, it means that the numbers go up, but we are not getting like dangerously sick from this. But there are concerns because there were like 30 people from Israel, a group of tourists. They all got sick, and one is very seriously ill, meaning that the pressure on the hospital is even more than before. And this is the big concern. is the hospital gonna handle all of these cases? And keep in mind, very few of these cases are actually like serious. And it's nothing like it was before. For example, like in the second wave, we had 14 deaths, but like the infection rate was much lower, showing that Icelanders are vaccinated, and we are perhaps not as careful as before. Now there are talks about we just need to, what can you say? We need to learn to live with the virus, because what more to do if you think about it? So that's kind of the situation. When it comes to this, our epidemiologist, Þórólfur Guðnason, he says that there is not necessary to have stricter quarantine rules, because, for example, my kid, Italy, you met him, he's in quarantine right now. The reason is because there was a staff worker in his school that got sick, so he has to quarantine. And if we would not have been vaccinated, then me and my girlfriend, we would need to have quarantine with him. But because we were vaccinated, we don't, which is brilliant, because if I would not have been, if that would not have been the case, I would not be here with you today. So this is how it goes. Yeah, so he says there is no, he's paying close attention to the hospital, and the hospital is, I mean, they are struggling, but it feels like they're always struggling somehow. It's becoming more of a rule than anything else. There are, of course, elections a month from now, and the politicians saying give them just more money. But the government say it's not that simple. You just need to give them money. They need to be able to put this money in good use. So it's like a clash of views there. The numbers are going down, like I said. We're down to 55 cases now. Not once have we had like a jump in numbers. It's like before we were vaccinated, you could see like 10 had COVID, then 20, then 60, and it was like a very rapid move up. But this has not been the case in now. Oh. Yeah, I've never been here. This is very nice. What a day at the office. Oh, and I'm gonna end up with on the lighter notes, because this is a heavy newscast. Puffins, you know, the very cute little birds with a beacon, and some people think that are like our national bird. Has never been healthier before. They were almost dying out in like early 2000, when scientists started helping them to get back on their feet. And the good news is that they are now with puffins that have never been so heavy and such. And we were talking about over 300 grams. So they're, I wouldn't say fat, but they're happy and strong. But the thing is that in COVID, a few things have changed, because we are not as the human being is more inside, and the heavy industry is not as invasive in the nature as before, meaning that we have had like fish called sand eels back, very small fish that the puffins eat. And it disappeared in 2005, close to Vestmannaeyjar, also same in Reykjavik, but they all of a sudden have returned, meaning that the puffins have enough to eat. So the puffin is actually getting back on track, so the people of Vestmannaeyjar can start catching it again and eating it with, drown it with butter, like when you eat it. Nah, I don't know, but we of course hunt the puffins and we eat them. To be honest, they are not very tasty. I don't like it. It's like very black wild meat, like wild bird meat. It's very different from, for example, chicken and such. So I'm not a fan. So we have a little bit longer. It's such a nice weather, and yeah, the heat wave is not anymore. We're now down to like 10 to 14 degrees, but it's still like 10 to 14 degrees, which is pretty good. And the nature is wonderful. We will go to the volcano tomorrow, hopefully, but let's see. We're going to try to get it when it's active next time. So it might be a little bit later, but we will be back. So this is it for me, Art, and of course Pollý. You can see that Pollý is absolutely done. Are you tired? She's hot, that's the thing. She's been very hot the past days. Like when you throw, she gets the ball and then she rests for 5 minutes. So remember, of course, our online shop, and remember our homepage, grapevine.is. You will find all of these news there and then more. Remember also that I'm having these the Icelandic perspective walking tours. You can go to our booking page. You will find it at grapevine.is, and keep in mind you can also book a lot of other things. So if you have no interest in me or whatever I'm doing, or just don't want to meet me or Pollý, you can just buy a trip to the volcano or whatever. So until next time, see you then. Okay? You're alert.